This is Abe Friedtanzer from ShockYa, and I'm thrilled to be speaking with Bianca Stigter about her film 3 Minutes of Lengthening, which is showing at the Sundance Film Festival. How are you today, Bianca?
I'm very well, thank you. A pity we can't be in Sundance in person. I would love to see the snow and so on, but here we are.
Where are you today?
I'm in Amsterdam, the Netherlands.
Wonderful, wonderful. Well, thank you so much for speaking with me. This is a very powerful and interesting film. I believe you first discovered Glenn Kurtz's book, 3 Minutes in Poland, on Facebook, correct?
That is absolutely correct, yeah.
What piqued your interest when you first saw it?
Well, really already the title, 3 Minutes in Poland, was for me very intriguing. How minutes in the country, what is this? So I clicked on it and got even more intrigued, finding out what it was. The 3 minutes was a piece of footage his grandfather, David Kurtz, who had emigrated to America as a child, had shot in his hometown in Poland. And you could see, you still can see that footage on the website of the Holocaust Memorial Museum in Washington. So I went to see it, and I was immediately very taken by it, especially because it's in color. And you know, most film material we have from let's say before 1945 is in black and white, and to see it in color already made it come much closer. And you see all these kids so alive, and I immediately had the feeling, okay, 3 minutes is fantastic that we have those 3 minutes, but couldn't we keep these people in the present for a bit longer? And that was the starting idea of 3 minutes lengthening.
And what was Glenn's initial response? Did he see this as something that could become a film, a feature-length film?
I then had the opportunity from the film festival in Rotterdam, because I worked as a film critic before, to make a video essay for the festival in 2015. And I said, okay, but I really want to do this. And they said, okay, go and try. So I contacted Glenn via email, and he was very interested, a bit cautious, like, what does he really want to do? But when I explained the idea, he said, okay, that this could be something. So I interviewed him, and he arranged that the Holocaust Museum gave us access to the footage to work with. And then I made a version of, let's say, 23 minutes. That was in 2015. And then I thought, I'm not ready. There's still so much more to do with this material and make it still much longer. So it became also for me a kind of, let's say, an experiment or an exercise in slow watching, because we're used to see things quick, and go to the next, because there's so much to see, of course. But I thought, what would happen if you really concentrate and really watch a thing with a lot of attention and over again, and helping other people to have that same kind of experience. And then of course, when we started, it was an experiment. We didn't know the outcome, but for me it shows how rich the 3 minutes of film can be.
Yeah. What surprised you most in your research process?
God, that's a difficult. What surprised me most? What surprised me was how for granted we take what we know, or what you can know. But let's say, in a philosophical way, if you talk about images, there are things an image cannot tell you and can tell you. For instance, if you have sun and shadow on it, you can approximately think, okay, this is what is the time of day, but you cannot say where it was taken if you don't have outside information. So all that kind of things were surprising to me about the nature of film, to find out all those kind of little things.
Yeah, and I do think this also is an interesting counterpoint to a lot of what we're seeing today with manipulated images and videos, where a lot of people assume what they're seeing is correct, and you're going to great lengths here to do the opposite, to say, here's what we think we know, here's what somebody said, and let's make sure this is exactly what we're trying to get.
So. Also interesting for me was when I was working with the editor, we also had a kind of digitally cleaned up version made of the movie, and we use it sometimes. There's a little bit of variation, but in the end we mostly chose the old material, although it's very grainy and very scratched and so on. It has that kind of more authentic feeling than if you have the digital version, because it becomes all a bit as if it's filmed underwater, a little bit blurry. Yeah, so that old grainy footage somehow had the sharpest image of the past, and that's what I was most interested in, because of course I know this is not true, but it really feels sometimes as if these 3 minutes are really caught out of the stream of time for us to still watch more than 80 years later. That's still the kind of magic of film.
Yeah. And I feel like there are so many powerful and important films about the Holocaust, but if you really look at the impact of, seeing something before and then just knowing how little of that exists now, do you think there are other films you have seen that have done this?
Other films that have worked with old footage?
Other films that you've seen just that have really shown what used to be and then just what isn't, even just thematically?
Well, in Auschwitz, there's a museum display where they have a lot of film fragments from Jewish life before the war from all over Europe. That's also a very powerful installation, because it's, as you say, we are very used to see the tragedy of the war years film, but what was exactly lost is sometimes a little bit forgotten, and that of course is also very present in this film. Although I have to say, what I think also makes it so, the footage so powerful, is we know something that the people in the film do not know. So that puts, of course, an enormous amount of pressure on these images, and makes them also in a way very frustrating to watch, because you want to say, go away, you want to warn them, but of course you can't, because this illusion of seeing someone in the eye when it's not really happening. So yeah, the frustration is almost built into the experience, let's say.
Yeah, absolutely. And you mentioned before that you're sad not to be in person at Sundance with this film. What has the virtual experience been like of showing this film at Sundance?
Well, we just had a premiere today, a few hours ago. So that was, of course, very nice. And we had a nice Q&A afterwards with me and Glenn Kurtz, the writer of the book, and my producer, Floor Onwest. But yeah, it's a little bit less nice than being there in person, although I wouldn't know, because I had not been to Sundance before. So I was looking forward to it a lot. Yeah. Who
And
knows? Another time.
yeah, and the film has been acquired by Super Limited, which is a part of Neon. What has that collaborative process been like, and when and where can we expect to be able to see the film?
Well, I think they want to release it in spring in America. I don't know exact dates yet, but yeah, that's of course wonderful. It's beyond my expectations, let's say, because this is my first movie, so I wasn't expecting anything like this.
Do you have plans for your next film already?
I have a few ideas, but it's nothing I can share yet. No. Yeah.
Are there any responses to this film or reactions that have taken you by surprise?
Um, well, yeah, I'm very happily surprised by the very positive reactions, and that people are really very moved by it, which is of course wonderful, and you feel like that the let's say the love and the respect that I have for the footage is shared by so many uh, people, which is really great to notice. It's, you have a feeling, that the more people see this, also more chance that, who knows, someone will still recognize someone in the film. You never know. That could still happen.
I like that idea and that optimism. Thank you so much for speaking with me today. 3 Minutes, A Lengthening is showing in the Spotlight section at the Sundance Film Festival, and it will be released at a later date by Super Limited. Thank you again, Bianca. So nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Thanks for your attention.